I've asked you here today to help shed some light on Peppol e-invoicing. And you said that e-invoicing is both the e-invoice as a document and also about a network for how those documents are sent and received. Just touching on the first part, for those who aren't familiar, can you quickly explain the difference between a digital invoice and an electronic invoice, e-invoice? And why would companies choose to e-invoice?
Okay, sure. Well, we all know what an invoice is, right? It's a commercial document issued by a seller to a buyer that contains details of a commercial transaction. Products and services, prices, dates, that kind of thing. And I think if we asked everyone to picture what an invoice looks like, most people would probably imagine something resembling an A4 document. This is probably because for a large part of history, the invoice was actually a physical record, right? It wasn't until email really took off as a serious business tool that people started emailing invoices, mainly because it was faster and cheaper than printing and posting them. Now, these emailed invoices are what we would typically call digital invoices. They're created and distributed as files, with some never actually even becoming a physical printed document. So this in turn has led to the rise of accounts payable and capture platforms that use things like OCR and machine learning and RPA to kind of emulate that human experience of reading a document to speed up how they can be processed. Now, both invoices and digital invoices are what we call semi-structured documents. And what I mean by that is they have structure in the sense that there are certain compulsory elements that they have to contain in order to be valid, like a date or an invoice number, a tax number, a total, etc. But they lack structure in the sense that there's no consistency around how that information is presented. Put more simply, digital invoices are still kind of created with that piece of paper in mind. So the design and layout of invoice information included on the pages is completely arbitrary between systems and or companies. And that's where e-invoices come in. Strictly speaking, an e-invoice is an exchange of data more than it is a document in the A4 paper sense of the word document. It's structured into fields and designed to be exported by one system and imported by another. It isn't flattened onto a page and then reinterpreted by either a person or some technology emulating how that person would read it. They aren't designed to be human-friendly with logos and nice layouts and stuff like that. In many ways, it's much like what some people may know as EDI, which strictly speaking it kind of is, although there are some differences which, for the sake of time, I won't go into right now. But I guess bringing this kind of long-winded answer back to your original question of what's the difference between a digital invoice and an e-invoice, the short answer is that a digital invoice is created to be interpreted by people, whereas e-invoices are created to be ingested by systems. Sure, there are ways to emulate the capture of digital invoices, but one could argue that those solutions are just trying to convert a digital invoice into the format that an e-invoice would already be in, just so that the data can be ingested into the finance or the AP system. And that's kind of one of the main reasons why companies would choose to transact with e-invoices. The consistency and the accuracy of preserving that invoice information as data leads to speed of processing and payment. It enables workflow automation, it improves visibility, and et cetera, et cetera.